Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to tell you about the first episode of the series, Wensday. Watch out for spoilers. The main character named Wensday Addams is a dark and short-tempered girl who hates society and despises her peers, and her favorite color is exclusively black. Wensday has been transferred to another school because of incidents in the past. She goes to her locker and finds her brother Puxley tied up with an apple in his mouth. Wensday unties him, and suddenly in a vision she sees who did it. Now she is going to get revenge on those who hurt her brother. Wensday comes to the pool with bags of piranhas and lets them into the water. The abusers are definitely sorry for what they did. With his family, Mother Morticia, Father Gomez and Paxley, Wensday heads to Nevermore's closed scum school for special people. Wensday observes the happy parents with disdain. The parents say they went to this school themselves and she will like it, but Wensday is not so sure. Man is driven by a woman to the woods and told that it is near Nevermore and very dangerous. Man intends to find the school. He stops in the woods at a pass and is attacked by something. The Addams family arrives at Nevermore Academy. They have a conversation about admission to the school with Principal Weems. She says she used to study with Morticia and they were roommates. Usually they don't accept students in the middle of school, but they make an exception for Wensday. Wensday is brought into the room where she will be living. She is met by her roommate Enid, a very cheerful and fun-loving girl, the exact opposite of Wensday. They go off to give Wensday a tour. There are monsters at the school and many others. Enid talks about the major outcasts, vampires, werewolves and mermaids. Enid's friend Ajax comes up and says how creepy Wensday is, but she happens to be around. Enid says that Wensday should sign up for social media, but to her, social media is stupid. Wensday, in her new uniform, says goodbye to her family and talks to her mother. Morticia says she better not run away from school or there will be consequences and gives her a piece of jewelry, but Wensday doesn't really like it. The family leaves and is left with a living hand to keep an eye on Wensday. Sheriff Donovan Galpin and a deputy investigate the murder of the very man in the woods. The man has been torn to pieces. They will tell the press it was a bear, but they don't believe it themselves. The sheriff is sure the murder is connected to Nevermore. Wensday separates his part of the room, which Enid doesn't like. Wensday says that Enid should have written more literate stories on social media and she is being read by stupid people. Enid turns on the music and starts dancing. Wensday doesn't like it, but Enid lets her claws out of her hands. Ms. Thornhill's teacher comes into the room and gives Wensday a black flower. She also tells the general rules. The next day, Wensday comes to her fencing lesson. She decides to fight the best student, Bianca. They begin the battle and in the first round, Wensday wins. The battle continues and this time Bianca wins. Wensday proposes a third round with no masks and a sharp-tipped sword, a fight to the first blood. They start the fight and Bianca grazes Wensday's forehead. At the infirmary, Wensday talks to Rowan and he says he's been an outcast since outcast school. Rowan continues to follow Wensday. She is walking through the courtyard and sees a statue fall on her, but Xavier manages to save her. Wensday wakes up in the infirmary and Xavier is sitting next to her. He says they have known each other before, and he has changed a lot since then. As a child, she saved him from being burned in a coffin, and he repaid her by helping her. Wensday is writing her book while listening to music and hears a noise under the blanket. She knew she was being watched by a hand named The Thing. She gives him a choice. Either he will sit in a drawer all his studies or he will be faithful to Wensday and do her errands. Apparently, Thing agrees to the second option. Wensday goes with the principal to see a psychologist in the local town of Jericho. The director has no intention of allowing Wensday to escape and will wait for her until the end of the session. Wensday speaks with the psychologist, Valerie Kinbot. The doctor intends to form a relationship with her and become friends. This is a waste of time for Wensday, but the doctor is not done with the dialogue. Dr. Kinbot is interested in the books Wensday has written. The books were so bleak that the publisher advised Wensday to go to a psychologist. Wensday goes to the restroom and prepares to escape through the window. She successfully escapes from the building. Suddenly, she encounters a man and sees a vision. She walks into a coffee shop and wants an espresso, but the machine is broken. The instructions are in Italian, but luckily Wensday knows the language and successfully fixes the machine. The guy introduces himself as Tyler and agrees to take Wensday to the station for help, but only an hour later. Valerie Kinbot goes out looking for Wensday and the director realizes that she has escaped. Wensday is waiting in a coffee shop and she gets harassed by 3 guys. She gives them a very strong fight back. Tyler's father, Sheriff Donovan Galpin, walks into the coffee shop. He is very surprised at how the fragile girl beat up 3 guys. Principal Wheels walks in and takes Wensday away. Sheriff says he knows Gomez Addams and he belongs in jail for murder. Ms. Wheels is unhappy with Wensday's behavior. They see an accident up ahead and Wensday says the driver is dead. The principal doesn't understand how she saw it from this distance. In the evening, Wensday plays a tune on an instrument. Many in the academy hear her playing. Enid comes out to the balcony. She is surprised by the living hand. Wensday doesn't understand why Enid doesn't become a werewolf like the others. Enid says she doesn't know how and maybe the time isn't right yet. If she doesn't become a wolf, she will be a loner forever. Wensday does a poor job of cheering Enid up. Wensday tells how she used to walk her scorpion as a child, but her pet was run over by a bicycle. Since then, she never cried again. The thing comes to Tyler and really scares him. The thing shows an inscription. Wensday asks him to call her. They connect by video link. Thing doesn't like that Tyler called him a pet. At the Harvest Festival, Tyler helps Wensday escape. Wensday says goodbye to Enid, but sees the principal Wheels watching her. She meets with Xavier. He wants to know who she's meeting with, but Wensday blows him off. Wensday asks her to pass the big panda to the principal. Mrs. Wheels gets distracted and sees that Wensday is gone. Tyler gives her father's file, which he found at his father's sheriff's office. Along the way, they are blocked by the guys that Wensday beat up. She runs away with Tyler and runs into Rowan. Wensday sees a vision with Rowan dying and runs after him. He doesn't understand why she, chasing him. Wensday says he is in danger. He grabs her with telepathy and says he has to kill her. He shows her a drawing of her. This drawing was made by his mother, who was a powerful seer. He must kill her, for Wensday will destroy the entire school. Suddenly, Rowan is attacked by a monster and torn apart. She takes the drawing and has many questions about what happened. That ends the first episode of the series, Wensday. I recommend continuing to watch the series. Thanks for watching and good luck.